Every week on Draft Risers, we're going to highlight players that are climbing draft boards as teams get deeper into the evaluation process. These are the guys rising because decision makers are getting more confident in the full profile, not just chasing trades. And honestly, one guy who's rising right now, Miami edge rusher Ruben Bain Jr., one of the highest graded defensive players in college football this past year with a 92.8 PFF grade. He can play on the edge. He can play on the interior for a defense as well. I think a lot of teams in the top 5 and the top 10 in this draft are going to fall in love with Ruben Bain Jr. And when you're trying to identify risers like that, it's not about guessing. It's about having better tools, better data, and a better process. And that same approach applies when you're making decisions with your own money. If you want to make smarter picks with your portfolio, Tasty Trade gives you the advanced tools and the data to do it. You can trade stocks, options, futures, and more all in one platform. Tasty Trade offers low commissions, including a $10 cap per leg on options trades, so you can keep more of what you earn. The platform includes back testing and risk analysis tools to help you plan ahead and manage risk. Traders can use features like active trader mode, one-click trading, and smart order tracking. And Tasty Trade offers dozens of educational courses that you can access for free with your account. Visit tastytrade.com/PFF today. Tasty Trade Incorporated is a registered broker-dealer and member of FINRA and FA and SIPC.
All right, back here from the Combine with PFF's team mock draft series, and we're here with good friend of the show, Remember the Tight Ends author, Bengals Talk with SI. Going to do a Bengals mock draft, 3-round mock draft with our good friend, Max Toscano. Max, how we doing?
Oh, I'm doing great. It's my first Combine, so it's kind of a lot. I thought I was ready for it after last year's Senior Bowl, but it's kind of a whole different beast. So it's just it's been a surreal last 24 hours here. It's been crazy.
Definitely an electric atmosphere. You get to talk to so many people from so many different angles, right? You talk, media, radio host, publisher, everything. Everybody's here, and it's just so much fun to get so many different angles. I want your angle first before we get into the Bengals, because you are the tight end expert of tight end experts, right? I love Remember the Tight Ends. I love your breakdowns. Nobody does it better. Subscribe to Remember the Tight Ends. Nobody does it better than you, breaking down these players who are so important to an offense on an individual basis. So 2 things I want to know. Number one, when you look at when you're scouting any college tight ends, what are you looking for? Say 2 or 3 of the most important things you're looking for. And then 2, what do you think of this year's class specifically?
Yeah, the first thing I look for is your basic physical minimums, right? I think we've tried to get a little bit more flexible with what we're allowed to do at the tight end position in the last few years, but at the end of the day, you can't reverse engineer wide receivers. They already exist. And so you need that inline element on your offense no matter what you do, no matter what your other tight ends are, whether you have 2 tight ends or 3 or 700. It doesn't matter. You need one guy who can block on the line with the offensive line, because just the way most run plays work, and it's certainly all the core ones that you can really live on, you need 6 line elements, just mathematically. And so, we group the O-line into what it is, but from a run game perspective, we're missing a guy. And that is the wide tight end. That is a non-negotiable in any offense, because you can't abandon the run anymore, because defenses start to make you pay for that now. So it's totally changed the proposition at the position from where we were even 6-7 years ago. So I look for physical minimums. Can you do that? Are you big enough and I think strong enough to do that? And even if your technique is not there, that can develop over time. It's whether you have the raw materials to be able to do this, and of course the willingness, but there's only so much you can figure out there. That's the first thing. And then as a receiving point of view, I'm really looking for, first and foremost, your linear speed and fluidity. Can you stretch the second level? Can you get behind the linebackers? Or are you just really struggling to eat space? And if you are, it's really tough to do the tight end stuff in the receiving game. And if you're not, and you can block in line, from a bare minimum, I can pop you behind the linebackers, scheme you open into the flat, and you can, and you don't have to do any serious route running in your life to separate on guys, because that's what the receivers are for. So that's the first thing I look for there. And then everything else on top of that becomes a bonus. Do you have the fluidity in your hips to shake people in man coverage? Do you have the speed and yak ability to make guys miss in space? These are all on top of the fundamentals. But the first thing I'm looking for above all else is, can you be a starter? And if you can't, and you can't play in line, I'm grading you on the wide receiver curve at that point, because I'm thinking when it comes to high value assets, first round picks, high cap dollars, I need you to play a significant snap share, and you can't limit my offense.
Those 3 down guys are going to continue to be the most valuable one. All right, real quick, we've heard, we hear the top names coming into the combine, right? Kenyon Sadiq, Eli Stowers. Give me like 2 or 3 guys who you like that maybe don't get enough buzz right now.
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost on that list is Daquan Wright from Ole Miss. He is, we're at a place with this class where the chips have yet to fall. I think what's happening in the next couple days is going to tell us a lot. I haven't even begun to really rank him in a true one through whatever way. But if he has a huge combine, he's a strong contender to be number 1 in the class for me. So I'm not sure what everybody else is missing with this guy. He got great bulk. He has decent length. He blocks in line at a high level for Ole Miss, and I still think he has untapped upside there, despite being very good as his technique and aggression kind of rounds out, because he's a converted receiver. He's still new to this. He's fluid. He's got some good speed, and he's got great yak ability. Like, he's a huge play threat for them. So, like, do I think that he necessarily has the shake to be a flex guy working on DBs? Probably not. But I think you can be a high-level wide tight end that plays every down and gives me chunks in the run action game. And that's a useful start, right? That's kind of what A.J. Barner is. And that's what value is. So I love him. I think Oscar Delp needs to measure well. I think if he measures under a certain level, it's going to be hard for him to be the kind of player he needs to be. But if he hits that measurement, I think he has the chance to really test well. Like, he's an explosive athlete in a way that people don't really know about. I love that. And, yeah, I mean, a guy that's not even here to me is Lance Mason from Wisconsin, who, I want to see what. I'm kind of bummed he's not here, because I'm desperate to see what this guy tests at. Stronger as a blocker than I would have expected. Fluid. One of the few guys I've seen to give Caleb Downs trouble in man coverage at times. He's got some serious ability. He's better than a lot of guys here. So, those are the names I think that people should potentially start to look at.
That's exactly why you're the expert. You're going to get us the tight end sleepers. Those are some guys to look out for. Now, let's get into the Cincinnati Bengals. We're going to do a 3-round mock draft. We're picking 10, 41, and 72 for the Bengals. We're going to pull it up. We'll talk about needs as we go. So we're going to simulate it here on our PFF mock draft simulator. All the way down here, let's see what's left on the board. And this is a wild scenario here, because when you look at what's gone in the first 9 picks, man, we've got Arvell Reese still on the board from Ohio State. We've got Francis Mauanoa on the board here. This is actually a very interesting board, the way this shook out for us here. Jermod McCoy, Cassius Howell, but, man, it's hard not to look at those first 2 names in this simulation. Hard to see Reese getting out of the top 5 from what we've heard even here at the Combine, but that's got to be a consideration for Cincy if he somehow were there at 10.
Yeah. That's not to me. That's if the Bengals were different, they are a true 4-down team of true 4-down teams, so they don't really have a way to utilize hybrid edge players at all. And personally, I would put him on the edge, just period. But like, if he's going to work on the Bengals need to be willing to just truly turn him into a 4-down lineman, and I think he actually has he's so much stronger than that 245. He's kind of like Micah Parsons in that way. They're totally different players. But in that 245 lies to you in a good way. But, like, the Bengals would try to play him off the ball. And I don't think that they are going to value that more than a high-level defensive lineman, or at least somebody who's freakish. Like, I know they're going to love Keldrick Falk, regardless of what they did last year with Stewart. And, I think they're going to like Caleb Banks a lot. And I think that that's somebody that they could use in that spot. To me, between him and Peter Woods, I think Peter Woods is a 3 technique, is a higher level prospect than he's billed as. I know people are probably going to be a little bit hesitant after guys like Brian Brzee had like a similar sort of profile. But,
Woods feels like he plays heavier to me than Brzee does, though, right?
Yeah.
Like, Brzee was a lot of quickness and finesse, right? Whereas Woods is such a stout run defender, where it's a little bit of a different build, too.
Right. And I think in the modern game, when you can have a true nose tackle and your 3 technique who's a space eater that also has some juice, I'm gonna respect what Peter Woods has been as a prospect for the first 2 years of his career and realize that I don't think he did enough this year to change that. Based on the difference of role. So I'm going to go with him.
You're going with Peter Woods, number 10 overall. We're working on the interior. Obviously, there's needs at all three levels of the
Let
Bengals
it be said
defense.
that I got screwed by not having Caleb Downs.
True, absolutely. If Caleb Downs falls to 10, it's hard not to take him. I'm advocating him for number 2 overall there to the Jets. I think he's unreal. Let's skip ahead now. I'm going to simulate up to here. Pick 41 now, second round. Now, you still have defensive needs.
Let's go.
Emmanuel McNeil-Warren here. I know that's a guy I'd be looking at for this defense. Omar Cooper, if you wanted a third receiver, if he were to fall to this range. Gabe Akis, a versatile player. A.J. Halsey, too.
They're going to love
at Free State. Halsey?
No, Illinois.
Oh, Akis?
It's
Yeah.
Akis, right?
Because they like that movable front. Because Golden still gets in a little bit of 5-man at times, but he can play all over the line of
So
scrimmage.
he can play
really
4-eye and in 4-down. Yeah, I mean, that's a good one, but if we go back up, I like Keontae Scott too.
Keontae
as
Scott's
your new Mike
heck
Hilton.
of a nickel, man.
But
He's awesome.
The spine of the Bengals defense, especially on the back end, is so bad. They need tackling. They need athletes who are good. You got to go with McNeil Warren.
Yeah,
I'm surprised he's here.
The noise that we've heard in our simulator, maybe we're gonna have to move him up here because we gotta have a combination of predictive and Trevor's board when it comes to the simulator. It feels like he's going first round, right? But if he ever were to fall to 41, A+ pick here. And you talk about the enforcer you need to complement, especially Jordan Battle back there, and Geno Stone's a free agent. We're trying to figure out this position. Man, oh man, this would be an awesome pick. Let's McNeil Warren.
No question.
All right, let's skip ahead.
You hear Toledo people talk about him. It's like they had a real Avenger on campus.
Unbelievable. All right, here we go. Now you could go D-line here, tight end. Where are we at on Jack Endries real quick? Curious on your thoughts of him.
I think he kind of needed another year, personally. I think we'll see what he weighs in at. I'm really interested to see that, what at least his testing weight is. It's hard for me to cleanly project that role. I think there's a possibility here that he becomes something as he physically matures. Definitely got some good fluidity and whatnot, but I kind of compared him to a Dalton Kincaid with less juice, and that's just not something that I want to put on this team, especially.
Yeah. You already kind of have that a little bit with Gesicki, at least in more of a slot
and
role.
Gesicki,
Yeah.
I think Gesicki's a better receiver.
Yeah.
I think Endries will be a better blocker because Gesicki's worse than most wide receivers as a blocker. He just doesn't do it. But this is a team with existential needs.
Where else do we think? Are we going third pick on defense? Could it be a Jacob Rodriguez? Get all 3 levels of the defense going?
Is he available?
He is.
Yeah,
right here. We have
run it.
Run it in, Rodriguez.
Look, I want to take Skylar Bell so bad. I want to take him so
that
bad.
after the catch element in the Bengals offense to add that in.
Yeah, he's a
would be
shifty
nice.
underneath guy that they could use, and he's a UConn guy. That would be sick.
Oh, true. All right. Do we do the UConn? Do we do Skylar Bell as the UConn? The UConn. For those who don't know, Max used to work with the UConn coaching staff under Jim Mora.
Yes.
Correct?
Yeah. I mean, taught me so much. That guy. The team that he built, man. I'll go to my grave thinking about this team and thinking about Skylar, but I can't. That does not have bearing on whether or not it is a good pick for this team. Because that should not be how you make decisions.
Absolutely.
That's how I think teams that get into trouble make decisions. So my heart is going to have to go away here. It's got to be Jacob Rodriguez.
Absolutely. Best linebacker in college football this past year. Butkus Award winner easily. One of the best linebackers we've ever seen this season at PFF. I mean, just unbelievable. Curious to see how he tests out here. If he tests out as an above-average athlete, he might even go before this pick 72. Unbelievable.
I know. That's why
player.
I wasn't even sure he was available.
So we stack up the Bengals on defense. Peter Woods at 10. We got Emmanuel McNeil-Warren to fall to us there at 41. Not sure that's actually going to happen, but it's a really good safety class. Even if you took an A.J. Halsey from LSU, it'd be a really good pick there, I think. And then Jacob Rodriguez early in the third round. Love that. I think that's his range, or maybe even a little higher depending on how he tests, man. Great stuff, Max. Bengals mock draft.
If we can get that defense from 31 to 22, that might be a Super Bowl.
That might be a 12 or 13 win team with that offense.
I think these guys can do it.
But check it out. Remember the tight ends. Bengals talk on SI, and brand new added to reception perception chart and tight ends this year. They've never done this before. This is the premier tight end expert along with all of his Bengals and LSU Tigers knowledge. Check him out, Max Toscano. That's it for our Bengals 3-round mock draft.